Porto has stood on the banks of the Douro River for over 1,000 years. This is a city built on history, and history is everywhere you look. The Dom Luis Bridge is the first thing that catches your eye. This massive iron structure, suspended over the river valley, connecting the upper city to the lower one. But this bridge is only about 150 years old. Built in 1886, it was an engineering marvel of its time. A double-deck iron bridge. The top deck carries cars and trams. The bottom deck carries pedestrians. Before it, people had to take boats across the river. The bridge changed everything. It unified the city, made it whole. And it stands there still, a monument to engineering and ambition from another era. But Porto's real history goes back much further. Medieval times. The city was a fortress, a port, a center of power. You see it in the architecture that still survives. The narrow streets of Ribeira aren't narrow because they were planned that way. They're narrow because they developed organically over centuries as the city grew and adapted to its geography. Each generation built on what came before. The buildings in Ribeira tell stories. Some are from the 1600s, some from the 1700s, some much older still. They're stacked on top of each other, climbing the hillside because there was nowhere else to build. People built up. They built close. They created a neighborhood that's dense and alive and functional. The colors, mustard yellow, faded pink, burnt orange, came later, added over decades as families painted and repainted their homes. Each layer of paint is a memory, a period, a moment in time. Porto was a center of maritime trade. The port, the name itself comes from this, was crucial to Portugal's economy for centuries. Ships carrying port wine, sardines, cork, textiles, going out, coming back. Merchants built fortunes here. This is where Portuguese explorers would have departed on voyages. This river was a highway to the world, an artery connecting Europe to Africa, to Asia, to the Americas. The churches dot the landscape like punctuation marks. Torre dos Clérigos, the clergy tower, rises up on a hill overlooking the city. Built in the 1700s, it's a landmark visible from almost anywhere in Porto. From up there, you see layers of the city, the medieval core, the expansion over centuries, the modern additions creeping in at the edges. Each layer tells you something about when it was built, what people valued, how the city evolved. The tower itself is made of granite. It's weathered centuries of rain and wind and time. The Douro River itself is ancient. It's been carving through this landscape for millions of years. Long before humans built cities here, the river was shaping the valley, creating the geography that would eventually become Porto. The city grew around it, adapted to it, depended on it. Traditional boats, rabelos, still float on the water. These are the boats that carried port wine downriver for centuries. They're wooden, colorful, built with knowledge passed down through generations of boat builders. You see them tied up along the waterfront, relics of a way of life that shaped this entire region. Walking through Porto, you're walking through time. Medieval passages turn into Renaissance plazas. Old stone churches stand next to newer buildings. The city hasn't erased its past. It's built on top of it, around it, through it. Every street corner has layered history. Every building facade has stories to tell. The culture here is rooted deeply in this history. The food, the wine, the way people move through the streets. It all connects back to centuries of tradition. Port wine comes from the vineyards just outside the city. The people of Porto have been making it the same way for hundreds of years. It's not just a product. It's identity. It's heritage. It's how the world knows Porto. And exploring this through Google Street View, through this virtual journey, lets you see Porto without rushing. You can pause, You can look up at the architecture. You can follow the river. You can discover the small details that make this city what it is. The carved stone on a doorway, the weathered wood on a window shutter, the way light hits an old facade at a certain time of day, the graffiti mixed with centuries-old stonework. Porto isn't preserved in amber. It's a living city, but it hasn't forgotten where it came from. That's what makes it special. History isn't something that happened here once and finished. It's still happening. It's built into every street, every building, every corner. It's woven into the daily life of the people who live here. It's in the rhythm of the city. This is Porto, ancient, alive, real.